Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. Good evening. What happened to Catholic Poland? What happened to the land of Pope John Paul II? The anti communist, strong Catholic cities of Krakow and the rest of Poland. What happened? Now, this is from June 13th, 2023, from a website called Notes from Poland. So I guess stuff about Poland. Only one new priest ordained in Polish city amid crisis. It's not a quotation, it is actually a crisis at Catholic seminary, since there nobody's going to Catholic seminaries. And just remember what happened a couple of days ago. I showed you the ordinations in traditional, like the Fraternity of St. Peter. There is no crisis there, but they actually have to turn away aspirants to the priesthood. So here's our guy. I mean, good for him. He actually took the step, being the only one in this diocese to be ordained this year. In Poland, in Catholic Poland, remember Lech Walesa and all the people holding crosses when John Paul II went to Poland, and where is that? It disappeared. It fell. So, anyways, this article quickly, because this is a short video again. There was just one priest, just one new priest was ordained in the diocese of whatever it's called in central Poland this year, the lowest figure ever recorded. And they say, I mean, the church is admitting there is a huge, dramatic decline in interest in the priesthood. And one head of a seminary, which had zero graduates this year. So he called it a crisis. Obviously it is a crisis because there's nobody going, entering the seminary to study for the priesthood. I mean, that's the importance, again, of minor orders. I don't want to dwell on it this time. It's like, and these are not like, as even some traditional orders call them, just stepping stones to the priesthood. No, some of them should be, as even the Council of Trent states, to be installed permanently, like a permanent deacon, a permanent lector, a permanent exorcist, a permanent acolyte. So these are not simply steps. Yeah, they are steps to the priesthood, but again, to have a full clergy in the church to do the full liturgy, they could be simply ordained as a lector, and they do not have maintained celibacy for these minor orders, only for the priesthood and diaconate. Anyways, and a subdiaconate as well. So anyways, this single ordination was down from 10 last year. So it went down, 90%, I guess. Yeah, 90% from last year in this city, which is Poland's fourth largest city. And there's a good video. I mean, you can watch it if you wish, of his ordination. Very, nice. Anyways, in another Polish city, it says no new priests were ordained at all for the first time since 1950. What happened to Catholic Poland? And even in Krakow, where if you recall, John Paul II would go, and I don't know if it was his birth city or what. Anyways, there was only 7 ordinations, half of what they were 20 years ago. Anyways, this is kind of a misspelling because the linked website actually shows you the correct numbers. So in 2012, they had 828 candidates who joined seminaries in 2012. In 2021, it dropped to 356 in 10 years. 2012, actually less than 10 years, 2012 to 2021. So in 9 years. And a number of seminaries in Catholic Poland closed. And this priest says this trend seems to be unstoppable. Well, if we keep on going on the same course we've been heading on, following the spirit of Vatican II and the liturgical renewal and the watering down of doctrine and the new ecclesiology and the ecumenism and communion in the hand and earth worship through ecological awareness and all that stuff. Well, yeah, okay, and following leftist ideologies and politics and socialism instead of the gospel of Jesus Christ. Well, what else do you expect? Anyways, let's continue. And he says this, and this professor priest says, like, the lack of interest, but there's the lack of an attractive vision of the priesthood for the young. Well, yeah, people want to, because apparently there's no priests anymore. They're no longer sacrificing priests, other Christ, but they are social workers, they're community organizers, they're, leftist agitators and political activists promoting the alphabet people and the alphabet theology. Maybe not in Poland, but in much of Europe and the West. And the rector of the seminary in Olsztyn, however it's said, he says there is a crisis with young people not responding to God's call. Well, what am I going to respond to if I don't see a good priest, if I don't see something which attracts me? I'm not going, I have to give up a wife and children, a career and money and family to do what? To be a social worker, to greet people and accompany them? No. If to be a priest is a completely different theology than that. You have to know what a priest is, to be willing to offer that tremendous sacrifice, to give up everything and follow Christ. And with all this dramatic thing, it says Poland remains one of Europe's most religious countries, with over 90% of the population officially classified as Catholic. So if this is happening in one of Europe's most religious countries, what is happening in the rest? And it says here, in recent years, there have been a dramatic fall in church attendance. And it says, like, actually, there's a linked article. There's actually several linked articles to it. And young people are actually officially leaving the church, which is, that's what's happening in Catholic Poland, where they only had one ordination to the priesthood in this one diocese, and another diocese had zero. Zero. And you wonder why, what's going on? Well, it's not only just as in Poland, in Ireland too. So number of new priests falling sharply, says a local deacon. That's from May 22nd, so just a few days ago anyways. So Chris Garrett is one of only 4 priests being ordained in Ireland this year. So Ireland, Catholic Ireland, the land of St. Patrick, has only 4 priests ordained in 2023. Yeah, that's 2023. Catholic Ireland, the whole of Ireland, only 4 priests being ordained. It showed the complete collapse of religion in Ireland. It become an anti-Catholic state from being a Catholic state. And then his reason says, the deacon says the priesthood is a rewarding career. What is that? What the priesthood is for you, soon to be father? A career? Is that what you're asking people to join? A career? Well, obviously, there's a billion other careers more rewarding than the priesthood. If that's the reason for being a priest, to be in a career, well, no, so no wonder. And so the Irish bishops again are saying, oh, okay, well, we gotta help, we gotta restore. So they have this new campaign, take a risk for Christ. Ireland starts Vocations initiative. Well, fix what is wrong, and vocations will flow, as you can see in traditional orders and traditional movements and traditional chapels. So just 10 seminarians began their discerning, so they might not even continue their vocations in 2021. And in 2022, there were just 56 men studying to join the priesthood in all of Ireland. And as I said, in 2023, only 4 were ordained, will be ordained in all of Ireland. And only 2.5% of priests in Ireland are below the age of 40. So this Archbishop in 2022, Archbishop Duffy, he was telling the people, look, I suggest you look at your priest. He may be the last in a long line of resident pastors and may not be replaced. the Archbishop of Canadian, he says, I suggest you look at your church. You may be lucky to have a Sunday Mass or several but for now, but for how much longer? So they might even not have any more Sunday Masses in Catholic Ireland, the land of St. Patrick. Catholic faith and practice has also seen a dwindling in the nation. And only in 2020, so with only 36% of Catholics attending Mass, uh, I don't know if it says weekly, it doesn't even specify in 2016. And it's probably a lot worse in 2023. And in 2022, only 40% of Catholic Irish weddings were Catholic. So they went to the judge and get themselves married in the eyes of the state. And why? I mean, there are many reasons. First of all, why? I mean, we always criticize, it's this and it's that reason, and Vatican II reforms and communion in the hand and this and that. But people say, oh, Ireland stayed Catholic for a long time, and Poland. Well, there are reasons. Poland stayed Catholic because it was fighting communism. It was the land of anti-communist fervor, and the most strongly anti-communist force in Ireland, in Poland, was the Catholic Church. So that's why people maintained the faith and went to the church, because the church was the anti-communist organization in Poland. But after the fall of communism, then it became purely a religious matter, and the need to be attached to the church has disappeared. And in Ireland, again, Ireland for a long time, again, was first of all Catholic, and then there was the persecution, or the lack of good relations with extremist Protestant organizations in the Northern Ireland, and in so there was Northern Ireland, Southern Ireland, and all this, and the all the IRA and all that stuff. So again, it was mainly a nationalistic motive to stay with it, because okay, Britain and Northern Ireland, they're Protestant, we are Catholic, and we want to maintain our basically a national identity. But when again accords were signed, peace deals were done, and okay, well, the again the self identity of the Irish as being Catholic became not that necessary. We're Irish now, Catholic, not Catholic, it doesn't really matter. And that's why you see again the dramatic fall in vocations. It was not because of anything good resulting from it. And people say, okay, how can we restore the vocations for everybody? I don't want to take too long here. Well, number one, restore faith in the Eucharist. There's about 70% of Catholics no longer believe in that Christ is truly present in the Eucharist. It's just symbolic. 70% of Catholics don't believe that. And even the ones who go to church on Sundays, 30% or 31% don't believe it every single Sunday. So you got 30% of the population doesn't believe it. For those who actually go every single week, don't believe it. And so anyways, the conclusion of this survey was taken in 2019, I believe. So it says the survey also finds that belief in the real presence of Christ in the Eucharist is most common among older Catholics. Oh man, these pre-Vatican II Catholics who were catechized in the old catechisms, they actually still maintained the faith. Though majorities in every age group, even them, the influence over the last 50 years, including 61% of those aged 60 and over, believe that the bread and wine are symbols, not the actual body and blood of Christ. So we have total heretics in the church. So so-called Catholics are not Catholic. They are heretics, as even St. Ignatius of Antioch says in one of his letters. They won't admit that this is the very same body and blood of Christ Jesus in the Eucharist. So how do we fix that problem? Number one, ban communion in the hand, which is a total innovation, and it is meant for the destruction of the faith in the real presence of Christ in the Eucharist. Oh man, I can't touch a brand new iPhone 55 because it's so sensitive and might break, and don't touch it. Don't, be very careful. But hey, God incarnate in the Eucharist, just give it to the kids. They give him to the kids. Oh, here's a, oh, this is Jesus Christ. This is God who made you. Oh yeah, it is. Oh, okay. Okay, actions speak louder than words. So you are destroying the faith of the young in the real presence, and of course, in consequence to the in the priesthood. And we're not talking about the actual rite of mass, which is so watered down, seems more like and boring, and it's not centered upon Christ, but upon the people and upon the community and all that stuff. All that has consequences in the long run. Contrast that with the ancient liturgy that even Lacroix, which is a French Catholic paper, which is pretty much very much in line with Vatican II and with the bishops of France, admit in a survey of young Catholics not even going to traditional pilgrimages, going to the World Youth Day this coming year in 2023, 40% of them, nearly 40%, like the ancient liturgy. And so 40%, not even the traditional faithful. It's like these regular Catholics going to World Youth Day. Um, and it does mention that in 40 years in its history, the Chartres pilgrimage, which happened for Pentecost through the Pentecost weekend up to Pentecost Monday, uh, it was sold out. They actually had to tell people to go. We can't handle any more people. Please, we can't accept more pilgrims. So it reached 16,000, and many more were rejected. They closed the door. No, we cannot get more pilgrims in here. We don't have tents. We don't have facilities. We can't handle any more people. And half of these pilgrims, these traditionalists who adhere to the ancient liturgy, who have been formed by the ancient liturgy, are because it forms the faith too. Faith, ora, lex orandi, lex credendi, the law of prayer is the law of belief. How you pray is what you believe. How you believe is formed by your prayer life. So there are not. So when you change the way people pray, you change their belief. Even technically, in the Catechism, I might say the Orthodox faith, but the way the people are praying, the way they stand, the way they receive the Eucharist, all affects the faith. And it says here, in many churches, 18 to 35-year-olds make up a large part of the traditionalist congregation, a good third, not considering the children, probably even more than that. So that's in from Lacroix. It's like like a official, basically French bishop's magazine. In the same magazine, they actually says the Tridentine Rite pilgrimage in France draws a record 16,000. The Pilgrimage of Our Lady of Christendom, a 3-day walk from Paris to Chartres that has drawn traditionalist Catholics from around the world since 1983, concludes with the Old Latin Mass. It starts with it. The ancient liturgy is celebrated during the pilgrimage and is concluded in Chartres Cathedral with it. It used to start at Notre Dame de Paris before the great cathedral was burned down on purpose. And there was an investigation, which we never heard anything about. Remember Notre Dame, when the roof went up in flames magically? And finally, the Traditional Catholic Register, the National Catholic Register says traditional church pilgrimage in France is a victim of its own success, that they had to turn away pilgrims due to its overflow of registrants. Anyways, if you're interested more in that, you can go to Notre Dame de Chrétienté website, which is the official organizing thing. They have tons of. I was going to show you some, but I'm not going to, just because I want to make this a short video. So it has a ton of pictures of this year's. I think the English version has the 2022 pilgrimage, 2023. Go to the French website and you can see videos and pictures and interviews and sermons and whatever. So all of that, if you're more interested in what's going on here. Young Catholics going everywhere. And we're going to close here with a little clip, which I will just not show too much of it because it is from a, kind of a Catholic news channel. They are even, this is kind of a regular French Catholic channel. They are talking about the Chartres pilgrimage. Here, all the young people, they're not being losing their faith. Actually, their faith is strengthened and growing by the liturgy and the good priests who teach them the ancient faith. So, anyways, so this is the good news part is we can see a revival among the young. But you think, why are they trying to shut it down? Why are they trying to destroy it? What is this a bad sight to see faithful young Catholics joining the priesthood, joining religious orders, going all these pilgrimages, keeping the faith? Is that a bad thing? Well, it's a bad thing for those if you don't want the faith to survive. But yeah, that's the end of the story. So from a sad one person ordained in Catholic Poland, in that diocese, one, and four in all of Ireland for 2023, you have in contrast fruitful tradition everywhere, wherever it's allowed to flourish and not be clamped down. So that's it. That's all. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and keep the faith, keep the ancient liturgy. Go try it. Don't try to follow everything the first time. Just sit there, sit there. You don't have to follow every word. It's the best thing if you actually read maybe the basic of the mass before you go, so at least you know what's going on. And that's it. Don't try to follow. It's very hard to follow at the beginning if you have never been there. But then it becomes like, yeah, I know everything. I don't even need to look at my missal. It's up to you. Anyways, that's it. That's all. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you, hopefully, if I can, if I'm not too busy, tomorrow. Bye-bye.